It's ugly out here, man. The opportunities that's gonna be coming is gonna be mind blowing. 2025, the opportunities that are gonna be coming is gonna be mind blowing. And if you ain't a person that was setting themselves up in preparation, you already done. You already missed out. Because the opportunities that are coming, the average person is not going to be able to play.
No, not at all. They can't play now.
America is turning into a renter's nation. America is turning into a renter's nation. They're predicting in the next 10 years, over 60% or more of the Americans will be renters. So your children that you are hoping to be able, that will be able to buy their own home, are going to be relying on you to set them up
so they can
to be able to get their home. Because imagine how it's going to look like if you have no help, and then you're looking to buy your home for the first time, young people, in the next 10, 15 years from today.
Day is over. Damn.
All right, so shout out to the Millionaire Mindset Podcast. Now, if you've been here for a while, this is something that I've talked about or been talking about for at least 2 years, is that America is turning into a renter's nation. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people want the real estate market to bend their will, right? They say, oh, I want to wait to buy a home when rates come down. And, I totally understand that. But that's not exactly how the game works, and it won't work in your favor like how you think. We saw during COVID how loosening monetary policy and doing what they have to do in the bond market to bring mortgage rates down, we saw what happened with that. Now, fast forward to today with higher inflation, and fast forward to today with higher rates. What has happened? The price of homes has continued to increase. We are in something currently called a reverse real estate crash, meaning prices are going to crash up. Now, there are several reasons why this is happening. Number one, we have institutions buying up real estate and turning them into rentals. We have institutions that are building, but they are building rental-only communities. Okay, if you're anywhere in the United States, and you see these new developments are popping up, but they are rental only. Here's what's going to happen. We are going to mirror Canada and Europe, where the average home price in about 15 to 20 years will be $800,000 and higher, out of the average person's reach. The other thing that is forcing this market to increase is immigration, right? You do not have to be a United States citizen to purchase a home. You just need to have a work visa. I know this because I have helped several buyers that are not American citizens. They have work visas, and I assisted them with buying a home. And in addition to the government being a part of this, the banks are also a part of this. They are promoting to us agents, hey, do you have a client that's not an American citizen that doesn't have a social security number? We got programs for them. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's what's going on right now. And even though we have the Trump administration coming in, coming in, it's not going to change for them, right? They talk about, getting all these immigrants out and these non-American citizens out. The correct way to come into the United States is via a work visa, right? You're contributing to the American economy. And what's happening is these people are coming in with a plan, and their plan is so strategic that it has been projected that the majority home buyer in the United States in the next couple of years will be Hispanic and not American, not African American, and not white. Okay. Now, there are several reasons why this is happening. Number one, Americans I hate to use the word spoiled, but it's kind of spoiled. People's their expectations don't match reality, right? So people get pre-approved for a home, for example, that looks like this. And what they expect is this. So this expectation has kind of leaked into the real estate market. And, I'm a real estate agent, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. I recently went to a Christmas party with one of my lender buddies, Malcolm. Shout out to Malcolm, Fairway Mortgage. And a lot of the agents were saying, hey, I'm not working with anybody that is pre-approved for less than $400,000. I'm seeing that in these Facebook groups for real estate agents. I'm seeing this all over the place because I work with people that are pre-approved for less than 400,000. That's just me. But what has happened is the people that have on a lower pre-approval level, what has happened, and I see this myself too, their expectations haven't caught up with reality. And what's going to happen is that expectation is going to leave them being a permanent renter. And, when I first got into the real estate market and I bought my first home, I had a game plan. My game plan was I'm going to get in, I'm going to learn the process, I'm going to figure out how the underwriting works, what I can get past or slip through the underwriters, and actually closing, how the title company works. I bought my first home. Most first-time home buyers right now would not buy or live in the home that I purchased when I first bought it. I bought a home for like $180,000, $190,000, 800 square foot townhome, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I'm sorry, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. That home right now is worth $450,000. Right? So that's what a lot of first time buyers or people that are looking to get into the real estate market are missing, is the appreciation of the asset over time. You're paying rent to somebody, or you're paying, you're staying in an apartment or a condo, or you're in one of these rental only communities. Once you leave, that landlord is going to rent it out. That money is gone out the window. Now, of course, we're owning a home. You pay property taxes, you pay insurance, you pay these other things, but some of the payments that you make go into the equity of the home. And when you leave and when you sell that home, you can take that money with you and roll it to the next property. That was my line of thinking. When I bought my first home, I said, all right, I'm gonna grow equity, and then I'm gonna take that equity and roll it into the next property. So when I went to the next property, I didn't have to put down the down payment. And I had a low payment because, not just because of the interest rate, but because of how much equity that I rolled from over here to over here. And I didn't have to come out of pocket with nothing. I literally sold that home, they put that money in an escrow account, and I just rolled it into the next property. Okay? So that's one thing that a lot of these buyers are truly missing. Now, here's the other thing. I try and help the hood. I try and help all of these other people. Like, look, you can use, Section 8 government assistance to purchase a home. You can use down payment assistance to purchase a home. But what happens is, everybody wants interest rates to come down. If that happens, it is very hard to use down payment assistance to compete with people that have money, institutions that are putting down large down payments, that have faster closings because they are using, they're putting down 10, 15, 20%, 25% down. It is very hard to compete, right? When you're using a NACA program or, any of these down payment assistance, no money down programs, just so you can get into the property. It becomes a lot harder, right? And the other thing is, when you're under $400,000, there's not much inventory. But one thing that I try to explain to people is, hey, you get in, and this isn't the real estate agent talking. Look, me personally, in my opinion, money grows on trees. I don't need the money that bad. I have people that exit contracts all the time. It does not hurt me. Okay. But this is just the reality. The asset will grow. If you're a renter and you die, that landlord is going to kick your ass out and your family out and move on to the next person. If you own the property, you can get a life insurance policy against that property. And if you were to pass away, that life insurance policy will pay off that mortgage. And that way your family will have somewhere to stay. Now, of course, they'll still have to pay the taxes on that property to hold on to it. But it's better than a landlord or renting from an institution that doesn't give a shit about you if you die. I mean, hell, we saw that United Health CEO get killed. Literally, his job posting, the posting for his job, was on LinkedIn like 2 days later. He wasn't even cold yet in the morgue. So that's how these landlords and these institutions, that's how they roll too. Now, let me talk about this, right? When it comes to Hispanics, the Hispanic population coming from South America, their game plan is hella strategic. If you're listening to this and you're white, black, or other, it's mostly natural born Americans that don't understand this strategic plan. So the clients that I helped recently, I'm not going to say where they're from, but they're from South America. Their mom got here first. Okay. The mom, the wife's mom got here first. She had a job. She built up the credit. She had the work history to purchase a home. The daughter and the daughter's husband put up the money for the down payment. Boom. They came from South America, moved in with mom, stayed with mom for a little bit, stacked their money. Now, the husband's brother is out of the country. he sent the money for them to put down on their down payment on the house. So they moved out of mom's house, purchased their home that the brother gave them the money for. Then once they purchased their home, the mom added the son, the son-in-law and the daughter to the deed of her home. And then once they purchased their home, the brother came up to live with them, and they're starting that process all over again. So once the brother gets his work history, he's going to purchase a home, and they're going to add the brother to the deed of their home. So once they fully build this thing out, they're going to look back and they're going to own all of these homes. Her family and his family own all of these homes, right? And that's the reason why, they're projecting that the majority buyer is going to be Hispanic in the future, because they have a plan, and they're able to control themselves, control their finances, and they're locked in on this plan. And it's working. It's working. It's a hell of a plan. It's one hell of a plan. It's something that I wish I would have embodied and known when I was younger. I would have had, or my family, we would have had a larger real estate portfolio. Now, a lot of people in my family own homes and own their homes. That's cool. But their plan is more strategic, and they can snowball a lot faster when it comes to building equity and to make their lives better. They're buying so many homes. It's like the mom owns a home, her husband owns a home, right? The daughter owns a home, her husband owns a home. Like they're able to do this in a way where since they're doing it together, collective as a group economics, they're able to do this faster, more efficient. And they're going to look back, and their families are going to, in the next 10, 15 years, amass a crazy amount of wealth. And they're using down payment assistance to do it. And with a lot of this down payment assistance, you got to only hold on to the home for 5 years and the money goes away, or you pay it when you sell it, or when the mortgage matures at 30 years, right? So, a lot of people turn their noses up to this stuff. A lot of people are turning their noses up to the properties that they can get at their pre-approval level, and they're missing the bigger picture, which is why most people are going to end up being permanent renters. And real estate is the fastest way. Now, I talked about in a previous video, you need to get to $100,000. Real estate is one of the fastest ways for people to get to $100,000 for most people, because most people are already living paycheck to paycheck. It's hard for them to save, but they're still paying rent. But if you are paying a mortgage, after a couple years and you have that increase, you can literally sell that house, take that and get that money cash in your hands, or you can roll it into the next property and start the process all over again and build on that. That's one thing that a lot of people really don't understand. People have gotten caught up in this real estate market crash, and people think that the market's going to bend to them and their interest rates are going to come down because they want it to. The market doesn't work like that. And because of that line of thinking, and because of the miseducation, and because of the lack of strategic planning, people are going to miss out on something. It's going to be like almost like how you only have a very small amount of people that have entire, one Bitcoin. They own an entire Bitcoin. Almost like people that own a Picasso. Real estate is going to be the same way. You're going to have a very small amount of people that own real estate in the future, right? Just like Bitcoin, just like a Picasso, and it's one thing it's just one of those things that's going to affect people, and people don't know that this is around the corner. This isn't fear porn. This is facts. I'm watching this happen. I've been consistently learning Spanish so that I can pivot my business model. That's how serious it is. And thing is, people in the real estate business, everybody knows it. We see it broad day. That's why people are so obsessed with coming into the United States, is because of how easy it is to get access to a home. In these other countries, you got to either have 100% cash or between 10 and 20% down. There's no first-time home buyers programs. There's no FHA mortgages where you only have to put down 3.5%, or conventional ones where you can put down only 3%. That stuff doesn't exist over there. That's why they come over here into this economic heaven where it's easier to make money, and they take advantage of these things. And it's fucking lit. It's lit. They're doing what Americans are supposed to be doing. But because we are blinded by entertainment, misinformation, and because we don't actually plan and try things, we end up just missing out and then blame it on somebody else, right? When really it's our fault, because we are miseducated on what is really going on out here. I'm telling you, in the future, the average home in America will mirror Canada and Europe and be $800,000 to $1 million. And I'm not just talking about larger homes. I'm talking about these homes that are 12, 1,500 square feet, these townhomes communities. They are going to be in the same range. I had somebody leave a comment that was saying, yeah, I'm looking for something in the Maryland area that has, a long driveway, land and all that. That stuff is over. You gotta be spending a million or more in a lot of places, right? And that's sure like in the Carolinas, which the Carolinas is going to go up. Alabama, Georgia, Texas, all that stuff is going to go up because people are migrating. Once that herd moves in, everybody's competing for the same real estate. It's going to drive the prices up. That's how the game works, and it's already bad enough that there isn't enough homes to go around for everybody as it is. I had a client I worked out a great deal for. I tell people, buy in the wintertime. You can work out the best deals. This was $250,000 fully renovated townhome in Owings Mills, Maryland. If anybody watching knows anything about Owings Mills, it is a great area and it is expensive. $250K for a townhome that I think that was like 1,300 square feet. It had 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. She walked away from the deal, and for her own personal reasons. But that is going to be something that is a needle in the haystack. You're not going to be able to find that. Pretty soon, you're not going to be able to find that in most of these major cities. You're not going to be able to find that. And here's the thing, right? For the longest time, people say Baltimore was going to continue to be a shithole. It is getting harder and harder, even in Baltimore City. Once you start seeing them, fix the infrastructure in a lot of these places, these developers start moving in, Ryan Homes and D.R. Horton and Toll Brothers, and they start building, that's when you know it's coming. Baltimore is going through the same transition that DC went through 15 years ago. Some of these multi-million-dollar homes in DC were once $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. 10, 15 years later, they're in the millions. And I'm talking about needing full gut rehabs, and they still $1 million because of the zoning. If you know game, you know game. Condo conversions, get hip. I'm telling you what's going, and the same thing is going to happen in Baltimore. The same identical thing is going to happen in Baltimore and these other cities, Chicago, Detroit, right? The same things, Cleveland, all of the major cities, they coming for that. You can't come to America and think about all of the major destinations. Miami's already lit, so let's count Miami out. Texas, right? They turning that up. Detroit, right? It's on the way. Baltimore, it's on the way. Cleveland, Ohio, it's on these major. When people outside think United States and they Google and they learn about all of these different cities and they are turning them up. It is going to be hard for most people. Most people will become permanent renters. Here's my projection in 30 years. I think we're going to have those box homes or they're going to have to stack those container homes for people to live in, like how they do in China. It's going to get that bad for people, that aren't ahead of the curve. And this isn't fear porn. I don't like real estate market crash video. That shit is trash, right? But it's a reality. And anybody that's really out here and working in the market, whether you're an investor, whether you are a buyer, whether you're a real estate agent, you see this. You see this in most markets. But I just want to just bring you all that. Hey, look, measure twice, cut once, get in the game, stop playing around, especially if you want to do it. But I appreciate y'all tapping in. And you know the vibes on this side. We're going to keep getting fucking rich. Believe that.